Ready?
Hey.
Alright guys, we wanted to do kind of a tips video slash how do you ref video. A lot of people in our field will always have a couple new refs coming in each year, and at both fields a lot of times players want to help out. They say, you know what, I'm tired, I don't feel like playing, I'd like to help ref. In any case, no matter why you're reffing, you want to make sure you're doing a good job. If you're out here, most people, I would think, would want to do a very good job reffing, and it's a great way to make you a better player. A lot of times when you're a ref, you can see things happening that you wouldn't normally see happening. But if you're going to ref, you need to make sure you're doing a quality job. I mean, we can't just have you out there saying you're reffing and you're just standing around kind of observing, okay? So wanted to go over a couple really critical things, and I just touched on one, which is make sure you're active as a ref. If you see someone come running up in a bunker, I'm using Gabriel here as an example. If you see someone come running up to a bunker and they just got shot at a whole bunch, what you want to do is get up in there and make sure you paint check that person. If you're going to paint check a person, you need to make sure you paint check basically every aspect of a person. Now, in this case, I've got a female here who happens to be my niece, but I may not necessarily know her, okay? So I want to be careful that I'm not, how I'm doing that. So I'm saying, hey, you know what, I need to see your hip, okay? You know what I mean? And if she's shooting, she's going to keep playing, okay? She's going to stay on point. She's going to keep aiming. I say, hey, you keep playing. You keep playing. Game doesn't stop because I'm paint checking. So the last thing I want her to do is come out here in the middle and get shot, while I'm paint checking. So I'm going to remind her, you keep playing. I just need to paint check you. Now, if she's kneeling or something, I'll say, hey, I need to see your left knee. I need you to switch knees for me. So she's going to switch knees. Okay, she's clean. Okay? When you're paint checking, you want to make sure that if a paint mark is, you can't tell if it's old. Sometimes you're going to ask, hey, is this old? Is this old? And an honest player will most of the time tell you, oh, I'm hit there, okay, I'm out. If it's the first game of the day, there shouldn't be any paint on a person, okay, but still someone may not have washed their jersey. You can tell the difference between someone who just got hit and the paint that's dried a little bit. It's really critical if you haven't reffed a lot to understand that, okay? Fresh paint is going to look goopy, it's going to have some depth to it. If I can, put my finger in it and it, comes up with wet paint, they're out. Now, in a respawn game, there's going to be some situations that get a little bit sticky, no pun intended, but if someone's hit on the back, okay, and this is where if someone's a regular player, they normally call themselves out, pretty good, they're hit on the back, you might call and say, hey, is this old right here? You're going to say, yeah, it is. Now, if someone's shooting yellow paint and you got yellow paint on your back and they were just shooting at your back, I'm probably going to say, look, I'm real sorry, but, you have yellow paint on you, it's fresh, and they were shooting yellow paint at your back, you're out. And that player may not like that. Hey, it was old. I was hit before. I'm real sorry. You got to go respawn. You got to wait till the next game to get in. That's just the way it is. Now, I don't see anyone shooting yellow paint, it's on Gabriela's back, and the only person shooting it is from the front, I can make a reasonable assessment. Okay, maybe that was from earlier. So there's some times where you can, in certain situations, kind of take a player's word for it. Hey, you got paint on your back. That's a hard spot to wipe off. We expect players, when they respawn and when between games, to wipe off old hits. So sometimes that's a matter of I've got something on my knee, it's not wiping off real well, I'm going to take some dirt and rub it on there to make sure that it's eliminated. So that's something you want to remind players of, and if you're at a respawn point, you want to have a towel, you know what I mean, and either hand the player a towel, tell them where they're hit, or a lot of times it's easier for the ref to wipe it off with someone's lens or mask and try to get all of the paint off. Getting hit in the mask is a tough area to ref, because if someone gets hit right in what we call the grill, or right where the teeth are at, you're not necessarily you can't get all that paint off there. Okay, so you're gonna see if someone's respawning, they just played, it's very tough to get all that paint off there. Now, if you see a thick spot on their mask, there's a lot of shell in there, I mean, sorry dude, you're out. You know what I mean? Players can at least should know enough to wipe off the excess paint and the shell when they go to respawn. So that's a proper way to do a paint check. We want to make sure we're being cordial with people. Player in the heat of the moment, especially competitive players, and paintball is an extreme sport, it's a competitive sport. If you're making a call that they don't like and they don't feel is right, they may want to argue with you. Say, hey, I'm sorry, you need to get off the field right now. You know what I mean? You got to go. There's a difference between being authoritative and authoritarian. What I mean by that, we don't want to be condescending to people like, look here, you stupid idiot, you're out, get off the field. You know what I mean? Definitely, we're a Christian-based company. We absolutely do not want to ref cussing at somebody. I mean, you want to talk about a way to never, ref at our field again. But at any field, even in your backyard, even with your friends, You want to, as a ref, you want to be the voice of reason. You don't want to be the person who's escalating things and having this long, drawn-out, argument. If you're reffing at our field, and really anywhere, you want to be a little bit tougher on your friends to make sure people don't know that there's favoritism. So if there's, a questionable shot, I really can't tell whether it's a hit or not. Hey, Gabriel, your niece, I'm sorry, you need to go to respawn. And hopefully people that are, friends of the field, involved with the field, and your friends are going to understand that it's just a game and you've got to be a little bit tougher on them. When you're reffing, if Gabriel's up in here in the village here, which is really, can be a very tight area, meaning that there's a lot of close quarters combat and it's normally right where an objective's at, I want to make sure that I'm not bird dogging her. I don't want to be like just, she's sitting there and nobody knows where she's at. I'm just sitting there right on top of her, right there next to her. What I want to be doing is kind of, okay, if the objective's here or if she's defending the objective, I'm kind of standing next to the objective. And people can't necessarily see your eyes, so you want to kind of keep your head to where it's not necessarily showing what you're actually looking at, okay? So I'm standing next to the barrel, maybe where the flag's at, and I'm just kind of looking off. I'm keeping my eyes on Gabriella, but I'm not necessarily just staring straight at her. Okay, now if she's in the middle of a firefight, and I need to see whether or not she's getting hit so I can make the call immediately, that's where I'm going to want to make sure I'm not blocking anyone's view. So if someone over in Yorktown, I can't be on this side of her trying to see if she's getting hit. So as a ref, I need to be aware of kind of what's happening and how it's about to happen. So you kind of need to see things before they happen and get yourself in position to make that call. So if there's someone over in Yorktown getting ready to shoot her in the back, I need to get over here, and try to do that as imperceptibly as possible so I'm not giving away to her that, for instance, if I'm over here, all of a sudden I turn around and I go, and I run out of there. She's going to have an idea that she's going to get hit, and that might give her a chance to get out of the way. I want to, as easily as I can, I want to try to make subtle movement. I mean, if I move just a couple inches, that person can shoot her, okay? And I want to get in a position where I can make that call. As soon as she's out, I need to make sure I make that call. Player's been eliminated, player's out! Well, if someone shoots her in the back, the person in the front may not necessarily know that, okay? So if she calls out, starts walking out, what if they don't see her, her hand because it's blocked by a tree? All of a sudden, they tag her 2-3 more times. She's frustrated because she just got bonus balled. They're frustrated because they wasted paint on her, and nobody's happy. So I need to make sure I make that call, and as a ref, you have to be vocal. If you can't be vocal, if you're just going to be super timid, you don't really want to talk much, paintball is a vocal sport. It's a loud sport. There are lots of guns going off. You have to make calls, and you have to make them loud, and you have to make them repetitively. It's not enough to say, player's been eliminated, and just let it go. You have to point at them. One player's been eliminated. Out, out, out. Make sure that everybody knows, like, player with the red hair has been eliminated. You know what I mean? And make sure that player knows you need to get your barrel sleeve in. You need to put your safety on, and if you're in a really hot area, that's getting a lot of gunfire, you need to tell the person how to get off the field. And as a ref, it's actually your job to try and block paintballs. And I know it sounds terrible, but if she's out, I'm like, she's out, she's out, she's out, and then, even coming in here like this, just, making sure she's not getting lit up, and gets off the field. And if she's walking down to where she's going to get shot at, no, go this way, walk around. Sometimes you got to ask a player to walk around the long way so they're staying out of the action, especially in a respawn game. We don't necessarily want someone who's an attacker walking through and checking out where all the defenders are at. Make sure they walk around so they can't, gain a competitive advantage by walking through the middle. Sometimes it's going to happen, but that's one thing we want to do as a ref. Hey, please walk around,